Welcome to Pet Eats. It's a cataclysmic event of science, food, and pets.
With just a dash of fun for taste.
Very true. I am Amber Hamilton. I am a biologist and restaurant owner. With me today is Bridget. She is one of my fabulous assistants at my restaurant and also a Bird and Burton Academy student. Today we're going to be celebrating, pretty obviously, Easter. We have some fantastic things for Easter today, but one of the best things that we have today is
a bunny.
A bunny. Bridget has a bunny named Honey, and he is a New Zealand bunny, and he's a little bit large, so hence the largeness of our props and celebrations. I don't think there's anything such as a small celebrating for Easter, but we have a fantastic little guest here as well, and he is fabulous and cute and fluffy, but of course my border collie would be very jealous because he's as fluffy as the bunny too, and I'm sure that if I put some ears on him, he'd be like, "What? I'm cute. I can't be on the show. I don't get it." So, but that wouldn't be good for Bunny to have my border collie, because I think he would like Honey a little bit too much.
Yes.
Any case, alas. But we are going to be talking about a few things for Easter with our bunnies and our Honey bunny. We are going to be doing a couple of different things, but specifically with bunnies, their diet is herbivore, so plants, and lots of plants. In the wild, our bunnies do pretty much hay and grass. They do a few twigs and leafy greens and a few seeds and fruits. So what we try to do is recreate that with what we can buy at the grocery store, which is the wild version of our diet for the bunnies.
The Shaw's Wilderness.
The Shaw's Wilderness, the wilderness of Shaw's, yes. So with that said, we can talk a little bit about bunnies and their diets. It is obviously not going to be the same as a predator. He's getting a little curious over there. I think all of a sudden he's in Bunnywood. Bunnywood.
He's our little diva.
Yes, he is the diva for sure. We have a lot of great things that is spread out before us. We are also going to be doing something as a people version for our little Easter salad, hence the eggs. Of course, our rabbit is not going to be laying eggs, but we can talk about that and how that came about. But bunnies do lay some other interesting things, and we'll talk about that. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about bunnies and their diet. I know that you've been owning your bunny for how long?
About 5 years.
5 years.
He's 5 years old.
5 years old, and I had bunnies when I was little, and my mother was all about grass feeding the bunnies. My mother would actually put the bunnies on the lawn with cute little kitty collars, and a little chain was staked to the ground, and they would have these little circles all over the grass. So my mother was all about free-range bunnies.
It's a wonderful idea. It's really important for them to get out in the air and to get the grass.
Absolutely, and exercise for certain to keep their little bunny digestive systems going.
Yeah.
So how do you get your bunny to eat a little bit more of the non-grocery store variety of foods?
Well, it's really important as bunnies get older to feed them more sort of natural grasses and vegetables, and a little bit less of your sort of store run-of-the-mill kibble type things.
And we'll get a little bit into more of the detail of that.
Yeah. But we try to just give him salads. We make them up, and it's really fun. Me and my sisters always make up little interesting salads for them, and they just love them.
Yes, bunnies get lots of vitamins because they are all about the plants, and their digestive systems are too. They are basically super plant machine grinders. They're what you call hind gut fermenters, and which basically means that toward the end of their digestive tract is where they do most of the processing of the fibrous material, which is mostly grass hay. And that's why we're talking about getting getting access to those kinds of food to your bunny, to your rabbits. The main thing that your bunny's diet should be grass hay. It should have unlimited grass hay, 24 hours a day. And the kind of hay that is pretty standard, whatever horses can eat, bunnies can eat. How much hay do you tend to go through? Because I know you have two bunnies. You have Oreo and you have Honey.
It really depends. In the winter, we like to give them extra hay because it doubles as what we do in the base of their like cage area house. And it's really great to put that down as the bottom because it doubles as both a really absorbent warm area for them, and it's also a really great food.
That's very true. It is insulation as well. So with that regard, we are going to delve into the fresh vegetable category, which is going to be maybe around a cup or so packed of the other fresh vegetables to 2 pounds of the body weight for a rabbit. How much does Honey weigh?
He weighs probably about 25 to 30 pounds.
Absolutely. Okay, so he's going to be getting a little bit more than some other bunnies would, but that's okay. What we have here today, we are going to be putting a kale salad together. There are specific things you want to look out for in regards to the leafy green part of the rabbit's diet. There are things called alkaloids that plants have. Those are toxins that are their own defense systems against their predators, which would be the bunny. It's probably about the only time a bunny is going to be a predator because, pretty much they're fight or flight, or they're stationary, which is called plantigrade, actually. That's the official term for a not so mobile animal. So we're going to be delving into the kale world. Kale is a superfood. It does not have many of those alkaloids. Oxalic acid is the one that you look out for. Right, so the salad that we are going to be doing today for our bunnies and for our humans is our kale salad. There's a few different kinds of vegetables that we have, but pretty much a bunny can handle most of them. There are a few things that you do want to stay away from, specifically legumes, because it's high in starch, and starch can wreak havoc on a bunny's cecum, and that is the all-powerful organ in the bunny's body is the cecum, and because they're the tiny little microbes, like Obi-Wan Benobi, little microbes in there that are breaking down the food. But if you give too much of a different kind of environment for inside, then it will proliferate other kinds of harmful bacteria like Clostridium, which actually causes gangrene. So that's not good. So we don't want to do that. So we're staying clear of high starch foods, potatoes and such, and not too many grains. You can do fruits as like a treat. But we have kale here. Now for the bunnies, they don't really care if you're going to be dicing it up or not, but we do a little bit of that for the humans. So we can pretty much have a leaf here, and we will grab one of our plates. Since a bunny for Easter, we're going to treat him to a little bit more service since it's going to be a holiday. We'll put him on some official royal accessories here. So just a little bit of kale. And for bunnies, it's not going to be too complicated because they tend to nibble. Yeah. They tend to nibble. What is your bunny like the most?
Well, he's going to love you forever because kale is one of his absolute favorites.
Absolute favorites.
He also, when you're speaking of grains, he loves oats. Like if you'll just give him sort of a handful of oats. But you want to be careful that they weren't processed with anything.
True, and not too many because they are full of starches and carbs.
Absolutely.
Not too many calories. Yes, anything that's got sugar is going to be very enticing. Bad, but enticing. A little bit goes a long way because in the wild they do have access to berries and so forth, but not
natural
going to be
sugars
as much as they would the grasses and so forth. So. Also, your bunny is going to want to nibble away on it because they're usually storing up for that in the wild. This is my opportunity to gain all my carbs and my energy for the winter. So they will absolutely gravitate, and of course, that tastes yummy. So they can't limit themselves. You're going to have to be like, no, not so much. Hold back. Yes. So we also have some bell pepper. Kale is loaded with all sorts of vitamins A, B, E. Tons of stuff in there, iron. We have bell pepper. Bell pepper is super high in vitamin C as well as other things.
That's Oreo's favorite. She loves bell pepper.
Bell pepper. Oh, bell pepper, yeah. Yes. So she's just a spicy personality.
Yes, she's our little diva at home. Yes. She's the one that
we
could not bring
Oreo, right?
Yeah, no.
Because she was throwing a little fit, I heard, in the bathtub.
Yeah, not necessarily the bathtub.
Or your cleansing facility.
Yeah, we were getting them all clean and ready for the show,
and
so they
groomed,
could be presentable.
And she just didn't feel it, huh? She didn't have enough attention, probably. So Honey gets to get all the attention. He's very snuggly over there in his little laundry basket. But so let's put together the rest of our components here. I'm actually going to turn on the water for our human salad because we need to boil some eggs, and it's going to take 10 minutes to get the eggs boiled. To get your eggs boiled perfectly, boil the water boil the water, bring it to a boil, and then add your eggs, and exactly 10 minutes will bring you a very perfect egg. Then you will rinse that twice with cold water and let the eggs sit, and that's what you're going to have. Is a perfect egg at that point. So we have our kale and our bell peppers, which is loaded with vitamin C. Actually, bell peppers have more vitamin C than do any kind of citrus. Any leafy green vegetable has more vitamin C as well. So if you really want your vitamin C and you really want to get rid of that cold, eat a pepper. So we have that, and then we're also going to be using some basil. Basil is a little bit of an unsung hero. It is actually pretty much loaded with vitamin K and copper. Vitamin K is an overlooked vitamin. It has a lot to do with maintaining blood clotting in the right sequence. You know, obviously you don't want too much blood clotting, otherwise you can have a stroke. You know,
that would be unfortunate.
Exactly. So it maintains the consistency of blood clots, among other things, and also has copper in it. Copper is essential for connective tissues, immune system. So it's an interesting little vegetable or plant that has those qualities. We're also going to do a little bit of carrots, if you will, and any kind of the carrot the bunny will like. So
this is true.
Yeah, you would know. How does your bunny like her carrots?
They really like it anyway. We usually, when we have carrots, we try to give them an equal amount, but Honey, he loves carrots too, so he always muscles in, tries to get the most carrots.
Yes, and that's one thing about bunnies. They do have to have a particular environment where they are, right?
Yes.
They can get anxiety, and that can actually cause some severe problems. It's like, yo, honey, your lettuce of your life, you know, and he would not be so happy. I'm sure that Luca would love to say that to him. But we have some carrots, and of course, beta carotene, vitamin A, great things in there. Carrots are also good for some skin maintenance. And so the other item that we're going to be adding to our little bunny salad, and the pretty part is for humans. It's not so much part for the bunny to eat, because he just cares about eating it, right?
This is true.
True, this is very true. So we have strawberries, and strawberries are actually the most nutritious of all fruits. They have a lot of vitamins, but they also they have freeze-dried. They're finding some help with some cancer and your inflammation, and also with memory. So if you want your bunny to remember how good you've been to him, you should feed him some strawberries.
Very yummy treat.
Very strawberries. So we have our bunny salad, and it's pretty simple. It's not something I've made complicated. There are other things that bunnies can eat, and one of the great resources I find is rabbit.org. For going to websites.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many places you've read up or where you go for your information, but when I am telling people where to get their information, I like to have some kind of an association that is tied into scientific findings. And so as they give information to you, they're also connected to kind of being upbeat with what's new and what's current.
Researching your rabbit's a great way when you're first getting him, or even after you are. 'Cause it's always fun to find some new little treat or a little trick with them. It's a great bonding experience.
It is a great bonding experience. The only thing sometimes is that stay away from some hobby sites unless you reference back to the bunny sites where it's official knowledge of what is scientifically, microscopically good and bad for your bunnies.
Yeah,
so yes, they are. So here, Bridget, you can do the honors. I'm not schlepping that off to you so you can burn yourself.
Get the spoon.
Yep, it doesn't matter. You can use 1, 2, 3 eggs, depending on how many salads you're going to make for the human version. So the human version is going to take just a little bit longer. We're doing eggs because of why, Bridget?
It is Easter.
Easter. So there's actually some really interesting facts about Easter and bunnies. Would you like to know some of those?
I would love to.
Yes, well, there's a couple morbid ones too that I'm not sure you want me to tell you. But I'll start with one fascinating fact with the bunnies and the rabbits. There's several interpretations or opinions about where the Easter and the bunny came from. But back in the 15th century, the Protestants kind of branched off from the Romans, and
the Reformation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, very good history lesson. And so good old Luther protested against the Catholics, but not that was anything significant. But in that, they sort of developed certain kind of traditions, and eggs have always been associated with fertility. Yes, and justly so. And so the rabbits, also the hare, they were thought to be hermaphrodites, so they were thought to be the virgin reproducers. So rabbits were very closely related to the Virgin Mary. Who figured? That and eggs together was definitely something that would collide in the future in some different ways. Basically what happened was it developed into this Easter hare. The Germans call it an Osterhaus. So at the beginning of Lent, the period of the 50 days between the Easter and the following, they would tell the children that the hare would decide if they were good or bad, and decide if they were going to leave colored eggs in their baskets or not.
The Easter Bunny's naughty and nice list.
Naughty and nice list, exactly. The naughty and nice list for Easter bunnies. So that's kind of where it began. The details, it's sort of in the mix in there somewhere, but by the time that the Pennsylvania Dutch rolled around in the 1800s, they brought them to America. Now, bunnies actually were discovered apparently by accident. I'm not really sure what that means by accident, like tripped over a bunny or something. Not really sure there.
Yeah.
Not really sure on that one. But they did originate from the Spanish area, and from there, around 200 BC, they discovered, they're good to eat and they have fur. This is a good thing. And I know, so it's not something that you would be interested in, I know.
Well, it brought around my bunny. We got him.
Brought around your bunny, exactly. So
he's a rescue bunny from a meat farm.
The silver lining is that you ended up with a bunny. But yes, and then the Romans discovered this afterward, following suit, and they were the first ones to actually have bunnies in captivity, roughly. They let them breed freely, so hence the term, rabbits, proliferating like bunnies, you know what I mean? I'm forgetting the actual term, and oh my gosh, we'll cut that out. We'll insert that.
Frolicking?
Frolicking, no, reproducing like rabbits. So, and then, God, this is not the best flowing show for me, but we'll cut that out. Following the Romans, there were a few other steps and traces, but this is one of the more morbid facts. The 5th century, which was actually getting closer to the more traditional. Let's say that. Following the Romans in the 5th century, the French monks, Catholic monks, were not allowed to eat certain things for Lent, but they were allowed to eat fish. And since the fish were not that readily available, it's a little, brace yourself, the priest would allow them to eat unborn bunny and sort of consider that to be a substitute for fish. And that was called loris. So unborn bunny was apparently okay and considered to be fish at the time in the 5th century with the French Catholic monks. So moving forward beyond that, eventually the Victorians picked it all up with their fancy and, what they say about fancy as Victorians. Actually, I've never heard that. I just made that up. I know. My humor is very corny. It's a good thing we're not feeding corn to our bunnies, because it would be really corny. Then nobody would be able to watch the show because their eyes would be rolling back in their heads so much. They couldn't watch the show because of my bad corny humor. We're almost getting there on our eggs for humans, because we already have our little bunny salad. That is ready to go. It's not too terribly complicated, and also very accessible at the store. When we actually turn green here in Vermont, it's still March and it's not that green.
No.
Dandelions are good. What are some of the things that you feed? What do you fit your bunnies into? Outfits. No. What do you feed your bunnies when the springtime rolls on?
Well, I mean, like your mother, we try to put them outside. We try to give them as much fresh air as possible. They love the dandelion greens. They love the new grass. And we actually have our neighbor has some apple trees. So they love the little apple greens and the buds that are on the apple trees.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's got to be really enticing. For a bunny, spring is definitely like the whole smorgasbord.
Yes.
They kind of go crazy with all of those things. So we have our eggs boiling. They're almost done. Almost 10 minutes going on here. Other little facts. The very important thing we mentioned was the cecum in the bunny. It is the largest organ in the intestine, the abdomen for the bunny. Ironically, it is shaped like a carrot. So the insides of the bunnies are already crying out carrot. Yeah, bunnies are definitely meant to eat carrots.
Yes.
It kind of goes like this with a little point. It is at the junction of where the upper intestine and lower intestine occur. And what happens is when they're eating the grass hay, that gets separated out from their digestible and indigestible fibers, because hay is indigestible. That's why it keeps it flowing and removes hairballs. But there's a couple different things with bunnies that are differences from other animals and us, whereby we absorb liquid. Bunnies can actually secrete liquid into their abdomens, and that ends up separating the digestible from the indigestible. And the digestible fibers actually go backward from the large intestine back into the cecum. And here's where it gets really interesting. Those little microbes we talked about with the bacteria and the protozoa and all the flora in there breaks them down into the nutrients and proteins and vitamins and
all that good stuff.
All the
that
volatile
makes the world
fatty
go
acids.
round.
Yeah, that makes the bunny's world go round. Part of it gets absorbed. And the other part is turned into what are called cecotropes. Now they are small little packets of packed with nutrients and flora, and they also go out the same place that the fecal matter goes out. But the main difference, the fecal matter is pretty much composed of your indigestible fiber, which is going to be your hay.
Yeah.
And that is okay to discard. But your bunnies actually eat the cecotropes. And it is very important for them to eat this. It should always be allowed to eat those little cecotropes that look like little bunny poops, but they're actually a way of, ingesting. I can't speak right now. The cecotropes are a way of replenishing the flora back into their bodies, and also not losing those valuable nutrients that were just created from that breaking down.
The bunny's body systems invented the cycle.
Yes, it did. It's kind of like, if cows chewing their cud, and different ways that animals, and they have so many different stomachs, of acquiring nutrients. Not everybody knows how to do that. Not everybody knows how to eat their cecotropes. No, I would not know how to eat a cecotrope, and I really don't want to.
Me neither.
Eat a cecotrope. So we have, this has got a little hot, so let's grab a hot pad. These are so fun with the little fruits and stuff on them.
Very springy.
Very spring. I know, I'm like half spring, half Vermont here, because I want spring to be around, but we're still very cold here in Vermont.
Oh yes, we still have snow everywhere.
Still have snow everywhere, yes. So 2 rinses with cold water will just about do it. That will help the inside of the egg to shrink a little bit, to pull away from the shell. And then we can just let that sit for a little bit, and then we can dip our human egg into some beet juice, because that is how we got the color for our little salad here. So for the human salad, we are going to use the same kind of greens. The other thing about fresh foods for bunnies is it gives them water, metabolic water.
Oh yeah.
Metabolic water. How much water do you think your bunny drinks throughout the day?
Well, we have a nice, I'd say it's maybe 5 or 6 inches tall, little water jug, and of course there's 2 of them, but we usually refill that every day and a half or so.
Right.
They drink a lot of water, especially in the summer.
Yes, of course.
Because it does get really warm out, and they do have a ton of fur, so it's important to make sure they have a lot of water.
Maybe we should bring out a little bunny diagram. I think we have a bunny diagram.
We do.
Now would be a good time for a bunny diagram.
Come here.
Bunny diagrams. Oh, honey has many purposes, doesn't he?
He's the ultimate multi-purpose rabbit.
The ultimate multi-purpose rabbit. All right. So we have a bunny diagram. Ta-da!
We do.
Diagram. A living, breathing diagram. Now he is so cute, and he's got lots of fuzzy fur. It's just hard to not touch him.
I know.
But we were talking about summertime, and I know that you know something about specialness about their ears.
Yes, their ears are one of the ways that they cool down in the summer. So in the summertime, what we do normally at my house is we take some washcloths, we dip them in cold water, maybe a little ice on them, and we wrap them around their ears. So it's our own little form of ear conditioning.
Ear conditioning. What did you call it?
Ear conditioning.
Ear conditioning. Yes, exactly. Air conditioning. You're just as bad as me, Bridget.
It rubs off on you.
It does. It rubs off.
The amber effect.
What did you get? The ambrosia, the humor. That's very corny. So we have our bunny, and we have all sorts of different parts of the bunny. We have their eyes. Eyes can actually see 360 degrees, and they have one blind spot at the tip of their nose. But it's very important to being able to detect predators. They're very good at sensing things that are far away, since they are crepuscular animals, which usually means dawn or dusk if they're in the wild. So they are better actually seeing at either at dawn or at dusk. Their noses, the little noses, they're constantly moving, as you can tell. There's a specific reason for that, because they actually are obligate nose breathers, whereby their epiglottis is over the soft palate. So they cannot do what we do. They don't have the option of sustaining their life through their mouth, sustaining their oxygen through their mouth. And of course, their little incisors are in there, and that's how they can nibble away. They do have the same sort of trace back ancestor to rats and such, but just like beavers, they have to nibble down. That's why they nibble on the hay, because their teeth grow between 4 and 5 inches a year.
One of the other things they nibble on is anything around them. Their parts of their cage in the wild, maybe little bits of tree.
Yes.
They nibble on
the
everything.
bark is very good in the wild for them, yes, because they're constantly like beavers. They need to file those down, right? And then we have one of the more important items on a bunny is their defense system. They have these claws. They may look so cute, but they are dangerous. So
they
you
are
mind.
indeed.
You know, Monty Python wasn't far off, you guys. I'm not sure. He's actually assuming the position of the Monty Python bunny. Oh, no, it's not the bunny. Oh, you don't know. Actually, I have living proof of that.
Yes, we have matching thumb scars.
We have matching, thumb scars. Yes, look at that. That's from a bunny, and that's her bunny as well. Yeah. Yes, the incisors definitely make the cut when it comes to defense systems.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop with my corny humor. Moving on, their hind legs, you just kind of can't see them too well, the bunny diagram.
We can bring
That's
him
okay.
right
We can view, we can visualize. But the hind legs are so powerful that if you are not supporting them and then you allow them to fully kick out, oh, there they are, little feeties. Because of the muscle mass here, and also that they have that large distance between the top part of their legs, their hindquarters, and then their claws, where the hock is, that power just launches them. Wild bunnies can actually jump 12 feet to get away from predators. Yeah. And so if you are not holding them correctly, they can actually break their back. So that's important, and I'm sure you know all about picking up bunnies.
Oh yeah. Well, this is an important lesson. I have so many siblings at home. You have to go through it every single time, make sure they don't pick them up. Oh, the way I like to pick them up, and this is just me personally, is I like to have a finger or two in between the front paws, and then let your thumb and your back 2 fingers come around.
Very nice.
And the other thing that's really important, you have to support a bunny's rear end, because they are really nervous creatures, like Amber was saying earlier. And it's really important to convey that you're just really nice and supportive, and that you're not going to let them fall.
Yes, because bunnies need to be comfortable, since they are in the prey form of the world. They have the natural fight or flight tendencies. They're considered to be, again, plantigrade, which means more stationary, but they are a whole new category when they're in movement. They're called digitigrade.
And they can move. They are very fast.
They're very fast when they want to.
Yes. This chubby guy doesn't look it, but he actually, I've seen him move.
He can be in motion, right?
Oh yeah.
So, Bridget, I think we've created enough food for Easter. It's going to feed honey.
It's our Easter fest.
Our Easter fest, and a very healthy one at that. So we only have one thing left, because Honey was so cute. He just inspired me to do a little song about bunnies. I do occasionally do a little singing. Sometimes I do a little jazz, but since it is Easter, we'll do a little fluffy love song. So it goes a little like this. Lovey, fluffy, fuzzy bunny, you're my gold. Only rainbows and chocolate coffees even come close to your fuzzy love, your fluffy hugs, your fluffy hugs, your fuzzy love. Unforgettable, near impossible to resist your fluffy hugs, your fuzzy love. Fluffy hugs your fuzzy love.
If he had paused, he
I was
would be
getting
clapping.
a little fuzzy in my song, my words there. The fluffies and fuzzies were getting mixed up, but that's okay. He's fluffy and fuzzy, and it's all together. It's all good. Oh, I think we should probably reward Honey for being such a good model.
Absolutely.
And
he will love you forever for the salads. Really.
Oh, fantastic! There we go.
Ready?
Honey.
Yeah, he's so anxious to get at that salad.
Honey. All right.
Yeah.
There
we go.
Oh, there he found it. There he discovered it. He's like, where am I? He has to figure it out first.
He's still like stupefied by that song.
He's
like caught up in it
he's
still.
Caught up in it. He's like, yeah, you just pulled me out. I was eating. So thank you very much, you guys, and stay tuned next time. We might do a little more Irish with our border collies or something else, maybe.
We'll see.
But thank you for joining us on this show.